Johnson, the Best Teacher Ever channel, got an inside look at how the investigators analyzed the blood spatter to determine the story of this young man's death. Let's take a look.
Hello, my name is Emily Lana, and I'm here with lead investigator Nick Jordy and Maggie Kucharski. So Nick, what are some characteristics of blood spatter that you use to determine how a victim died?
Well, we look at the directionality, the height of the blood drops, the angle of impact, the points of convergence, the point of origin, and the velocity of the blood.
Can you go into a little bit more detail about how you determine these things?
Here's the blood spatter from the crime scene. We know that gravity pulls blood drops downwards, and as you can see here, the blood hit the wall at this point and dripped down the wall.
We can determine the approximate height that the blood fell from measuring the length of the blood drop. The smaller the blood drop, the smaller the height. The blood drop at the top of the splatter have small length and probably fall at a height of 10 centimeters. The drops at the bottom of the splatter are longer and fell at a higher height.
To determine the angle of impact, we have to first measure the length and width of the blood drops. So we made these measurements of the 5 random blood drops that we chose. Once we measured the length and width, we took the inverse sine of the width over length to ratio to find the angle of impact for each blood drop. So for the blood drop's angle of impact, this blood drop it was 90 degrees, this blood drop was approximately 37 degrees, this blood drop was about 22 degrees, this blood drop about 24 degrees, and this blood drop about 20 degrees.
Next, we determine the point of convergence of the blood spatter, using the same 5 drops we used for the angle of impact. First, we took the blood drops and we drew a line straight down the center of the blood drops on all 5. And after we did that, we found the one point where they all seem to come together, and that is the point of convergence.
After that, we found the point of origin for the blood drops. First, we measured the distance from each blood stain along its central axis to the point of convergence. Next, we took the tangent of the degrees of angle of impact. And then third, we multiplied the tangent of the angle of impact by the distance.
Now, understanding the velocity of the blood was pretty easy. If the blood spatter has a high velocity, it would be incredibly misty, much like you would see after a gunshot wound. This is not what we have here. The kind of blood spatter we have is at low velocity, meaning it only traveled about 5 feet per second, and the stains are 4 millimeters or greater. This kind of blood spatter is usually seen after certain stabbings and beatings.
Detectives, is there any way to say what happened at the crime scene?
From the blood spatter, we know that the suspect stabbed the victim in the artery, which we determined by looking at this arterial blood spatter. There was only one victim, as we looked at the fact that there is only one point of convergence and origin, and one big stain.
The confrontation between the suspect and Jermaine led to this fatal stabbing and ultimately to the death of the victim.
Thanks for the insight, Maggie and Nick. See you next week, viewers.